Hello again, friends, and you are my friends. I won't keep you very long before we start today's video. I just want to come to the community and kind of to say, look, thank you ever so much for your support. Thank you so much for your donations. Thank you for your monthly contributions. Without every single one of you who watches, listens, likes, shares, and of course donates money, we couldn't do what we do. The platform wouldn't survive. The platform certainly wouldn't have gone from a few hundred to a few thousand to over 12,000 people watching us weekly. It really wouldn't have done that. I can't thank you enough. But we need to go further. It's year one. I've got so many plans for year two, year three. This channel is going to progress. And I promise you one thing. As the football club moves into a new era, I promise the podcast will go with it. And the podcast will hold the club to account. We'll be there in the good times and we'll be there in the bad times. It's football. We have ups, we have downs. So as always, I have to say, if you do want to support this channel, we would be incredibly thankful for you to go to our Ko-Fi or Coffee site and either set up a monthly donation. These can be as little from £2 a month up to whatever you want. And if you did £2 a month, for example, okay, let's say £5 a month. We do 4 shows a week. You can do the math. That's incredible value. And the specials on top of that as well. Matt Slater, the Athletic exclusive, and many more in the past, and hopefully many more to come in the future. If you can't, do not worry. It's one of those things. My income is very limited, very sporadic. I probably couldn't commit myself. So if you can't, I completely and utterly understand. Or, of course, you can give a one-off donation, and they equally go a long way. I promise you this, one thing, everything we get goes back into the podcast and make it better and stronger and give it a good foundation in which to grow upon. Equally, if you're a business and you're looking to reach many people, you can advertise on this screen right here. We'll populate the screen. We'll make your logo appear and you'll be seen by thousands weekly. And you won't be able to miss that logo. If you want to sponsor the podcast, if you want to have some shared space, prices are very competitive for how many people you reach. It works out at like 0.00010 pence per customer or whatever. So please drop a link, drop a comment in the comment section, or of course DM me on Twitter or email homedressingroom89@gmail.com.
Indicates an important announcement.
Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome back to your flagship Sunday afternoon podcast. I am your host, the Governor, and I have woken myself up since yesterday. I've still not got much sleep, but the game did help. I did capture a few Z's through that. It was awful, let's be brutally honest. But somehow we put together a really good full-time show off the back of our second consecutive 0-0 draw without a shot on target. How we did it, I don't know, but we did. And here we are today looking to pull apart the world of Ipswich Town, the circus that is Ipswich Town Football Club. And there's been lots going on, despite a 0-0 draw. Manager not doing press conferences, and all sorts of shenanigans that we're bound to get into. First of all, let's have a few comments from yourselves in the chat. There will be a link at some point through the show. If you've got a point, an opinion, a question, or whatever you want to say about your football club, because it's yours and this is your platform. So whatever you want to say, there will be a link live in the chat. Stephen Parry, good afternoon. Lee's in the room. He is a Ipswich Town holic, he says. And someone asked him how long has he been in Ipswich Town holic. Mike D, with the money we grow and get strong on the opposite of Marcus Evans model, Guv. Absolutely. Afternoon, JT. Afternoon, Mike. Callie's in the room. I know Callie wants to get on the show and have his say. Me and Callie were talking this morning. I've got to tell you this, guys, about playoffs. Playoffs? Really? I mean, we were seriously having a conversation about how we could maybe gate crash the playoffs. I'll let him fill in on that. Colin, welcome in. Hope your wife's left the kitchen. What a classic line from Colin yesterday's full-time show. How was your wife's birthday? Brilliant. Where is she now? In the kitchen. Colin, come on. Right. With me this evening, this afternoon rather, is three wonderful people. I will first of all bring in somebody who has been up half the night. He is, what can you say about this man that hasn't been said? Controversy follows him everywhere. He is the Ipswich Town version of James. Crunch, welcome in, my man. Look at that hair.
3 days and it goes.
3 days, mine's tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, 8:05. Buzzing. Let's get this gone. It's weighing my head down.
New man on Tuesday night then.
Hopefully have a new team on Tuesday night as well. But look, listen, when there's two things in Ipswich Town world. When two people tweet, the world just goes mad and self-combusts and things aren't great. It's you and James Norwood. How has your weekend been?
Don't talk to me about it. We'll talk about him in a bit. Yeah, good. Stayed up for a bit of WrestleMania. Fell asleep. Woke up. Fell asleep again. But I'm staying up again tonight because I've got 2 days off. So, yeah, it was good. It was good. Nice to see a sort of an event with fans. Yeah, that's why I brought you in first. Because obviously you're a big wrestling fan. How was WrestleMania night one for you? I told you on the WhatsApp group, I'm not watching it this year. They can't do one show good, let alone two. I do agree with you. Look, it's not what it was. I know Matt's a big sort of prime-time wrestling fan. I've been to 2 WrestleManias. You can't beat going live. New York, New Jersey. But it was a decent show. It was. Did you know it was delayed, Martin, for 35 minutes because they had a storm? Thunderstorm. Yes, I did hear that. It was just bizarre. But it was nice to see an event. It's like, look, we've spoke about football without fans. Any sporting event or any entertainment without fans, it's a real struggle. But it was decent. Not as good as it used to be, but it didn't have the glamour. You know what it's like every year. It didn't have the big build-up for me. Absolutely. Flatty has signed up for Ko-Fi. Well done, Flatty. We're now 2 away from doing monthly subscriber giveaways. I'm buzzing for that. My wife isn't, because that's payments out. But hey, we're going to do it. Yeah, I know. It's great. Colin's at the Barbers at 7:30 in the morning. What? 7:30? Are you in the chair before me, Colin? Is that the person who's before me? I'd like to be first, but I sadly couldn't get in first. So maybe it's him. Steve H. Saw Paul Cook and Warren Heath same as an hour ago. Looked like he had a week's worth of shopping in his trolley. He's going nowhere. Don't worry. Yes, I can. I believe he's not going anywhere. Certainly what I've heard, he isn't. Listen, let's bring in the third person out of the 4-man woman team today. Let's go for the beaming, wonderful, smiling face of yeah. And obviously he was saved, Kate, a lot of times by Miles Kenlock. Now this football club has had a really good run of left backs over the years. You know, Cresswell, Mings, etc. I've never seen a player such as Miles Kenlock recover in the sense of every fan almost didn't rate him, but now he's come back into the side and he's made that position his own, and he's really hit a consistent run of form.
You asking me?
I am. Yes, we were asking you. Yes, we were. Oh, I kept talking through that sentence, hoping that there would be recognition at some point, and there wasn't. How are you?
I'm very well. Sorry, everyone. Probably not my finest moment, but I'm just delighted to be invited back on the show.
Look, award winners sometimes have gaffes as well. It makes them the great that they are.
At least you got her name right.
Always. Yes, I did see that this morning.
Big shout out to Colin. Big shout out to Colin on the MK Dons forum.
Colin, and I know Aidan's watching right now, so thanks for your support. It was great to be on their show yesterday.
It's an unfortunate gaffe that sometimes us hosts, as you know, Kate, go through. I can see you're still keeping your pen sponsorship up. Who is sponsoring your pen mug today?
No one, but I know I'm getting a lot of grief. But if you lived in our house, you would realise that the pen fairy is constantly here. So this is my way of controlling where the pens are.
Fair enough. I mean, what have you got? Chains on them, or have you gone to that point yet? No,
different colour ones in there. Is it different? Are they different colours?
No, it's all black. Oh, black. This is a blue one.
It's all black. Actually, pulls out a blue one. Look at that classic line. That Kate. Did you manage to catch the game yesterday, Kate?
Okay, so I thought, I'll be good. I'll get to bed early, and then I was just so excited about being on the MK Don supporters podcast, and I was really excited about the match and the takeover and everything. I wanted to see the reaction.
Oh God!
So my poor husband is in bed, and I'm there on Twitter scrolling for 90 minutes. What an absolute waste of time. So yeah, I went to bed after 0-0.
It's probably actually better watching it on Twitter, Kate, than it was actually watching it on iFollow.
Wow. Okay. So I tuned into your halftime show. See, I'm all about the brand. And I thought, oh gosh, things can only get better second half. But just once again, another Sunday. Very disappointed.
So you witnessed the Jordan safe style rant about our favourite striker, then, Kate.
I did, yeah. Great content.
I couldn't contain him. Right, let's complete the team.
He was swearing
today.
before kickoff. He was swearing at 3:15.
He was swearing at 9:30 in the morning because he had to be on the show. He was like, for fuck. Anyway, right, joining us is our resident media mogul. Matthew, welcome in. How you doing?
Afternoon. How you all doing?
We're very well. We had Crunchy WrestleMania. Obviously, last night, big boxing match. Talk to me about Conor Benn, wasn't it?
Conor Benn, shout out Essex again, representing. Yeah, he was against Samuel Vargas, who's probably a bit of a sort of gatekeeper in that welterweight division, I suppose. Sort of the gateway to fighting champions, maybe more bigger names. And he won in a round. So it was very impressive. He was sort of brought in to give him rounds, and he's put him away in a round. So there you go. You can't argue with that. Very good.
No, absolutely not. And if he's the gatekeeper, then the gate got absolutely blown to smithereens.
He's like his dad. So like his dad. I remember his dad coming through in late 80s, that Watson, Eubank, Ben era. Very exciting. And he's kind of like, hallmarks of that. It's great. I love it.
Absolutely.
What about the UFC, Matt? What about the UFC? The Ipswich guy?
Arnold Allen, friend of Mark Heath's. Yeah, he won as well. So he's in the top 10 of the UFC featherweight rankings. So yeah, he trains out in Montreal. He's been over there for a few years, but he posted his picture with the Ipswich top on. So yeah, someone else. So you got Fabio Wardley representing boxing and Arnold doing the stuff in UFC. So it's good to see.
And the football team, absolute dog.
We'll come on to those. Yeah. George Hug was in Arnold's class at school.
Oh, nice.
Ian Hatchison's ready for his next therapy session. Adam Flatt saw Drennan at Christchurch Park this morning trying to feed the ducks. Lots of hungry ducks, sadly. I'm going to make a promise right now. I'm not going to talk about Aaron Drennan today. I feel I've done that enough over the last 40 odd games. I'm done. He's what he is. I can't wait to see the back of him. That's me. Done. You three, more than welcome to parley on him. That's over to you on that one. But I said on Twitter today that I've seen every single game this season, friendlies, cups and league. I need some type of therapy session. And I feel like I do. And if we worked out how many goals I'd got for my buck, it's not great. It's about £10 a goal. Fucking hell, £10
I
a
think,
goal.
yeah, Mikey from Blue Monday posted that today. He spent 280 quid on Town this season. He's seen 23 goals.
It's crazy.
But
Absolutely crazy.
But that's where I think like iFollow is letting itself down, because as I've mentioned before, I watch a lot of baseball and I've got the Cubs TV pass, and it's 95 quid for 162 matches.
Mm. Oh, it's a
It's
rip-off.
so much better value, and it's such a great app as well. So it's literally like watching American TV through your iPad. Yeah.
So I thought you were going to say there they're letting us down by not showing a score, so they can't show you misinformation. It's not like some sort of state TV, you know, where they're going to show we're going to score.
It's much. I mean, obviously, MLB is a huge, bigger brand than the Football League, and
Is it?
but it's still, it's still great value for me.
Absolutely right. Where do we start with our second consecutive 0-0 draw in the space of 5 days? 5 days.
Well, let me give you an update here, because I fell asleep during Wigan, lost 20 minutes of that game. I lost 15 minutes and the half-time show on the Rochdale game. I stayed awake for this one. I managed to get through all of it.
This was the worst one.
This is
the worst one.
Yeah, I don't know what you thought, Rich, but it seems to me like the game was being played in slow motion. It was so slow, wasn't it?
See, I think the first 15 minutes, I've seen this in 2 or 3 games. It's like we come out and start quite fast. We're pressing. Bristol Rovers, that was a good example. We're getting in their faces. And then after that, the drop-off is absolutely alarming.
Yeah.
They go from here to down here. It's just, look, I stayed awake for the whole game. I didn't think it was as bad as Rochdale. It wasn't a lot better. It was another clean sheet.
Rochdale was a
yeah, that was
that was a hard moment.
But it was another game without a shot on target. 215 minutes now without having a shot on target, which is an absolute, it's a joke, isn't it?
Well, if you believe Matt Gill, he'd tell you there were plenty of positives.
He's going to say
0-0 was plenty of positives. No shots on target, plenty of positives. So I like the guy, but you can't come out and the first answer to Brenner be like, there's loads to rave about after that performance.
I'm not having Gilly thrown under the bus on this show. I love my Gilly. Leave my Gilly alone.
Martin thinks Gilly's the next Brendan Rodgers. He's going to go for that kind of goal and skyrocket up.
I firmly believe he is. But no, you are right, Kate. But then, he was shoved out, some would say last minute, potentially. We've all been there, shoved out last minute. I mean, you were on the show with plenty of notice and you still couldn't listen to me. So, it does happen to the best of them. But no, you are right. Where do you want to start? Because there's so many different sub-storylines.
Can we have a couple of positives? There isn't any. There is. Flynn Downs, I thought he was excellent. And I thought, look, real nice to see Tristan Nydam back 2 years since he's played at Pullman Road. Look, Martin, I thought he'd done all right for half hour. He did.
Overrated.
Me too.
He's great to see the guy back. Nothing against him personally. I'm sure he's a really nice guy. Great to see a player return from injury at any point at any football club. Let's be honest. It's the worst thing, being injured. But I don't get where the hype is coming from, other than the fact he's another player through our academy and we're Town fans and we desperately cling to these players.
I've not seen enough of him to see if he's any good. I'd hope in the next 7 games he'll get some minutes and we can make a judgment on it.
Potentially. I'd probably let him walk, test the market.
Again, he's come a little bit high, personally, from inside the club. Like he was the new Kieran Dyer. McCarthy called him the little gem, didn't they?
Okay. I didn't realise that.
Where a lot of it comes from, I think. But yeah, it was great to see him back. Fair play to him. I hope he gets some minutes as well. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah. Availability, says Adam Flatt, Martin. Yeah, your best ability is availability. Sadly, Aaron Drinnan's got plenty of. I've done it. I said I wasn't going to do it.
Last long, didn't it?
And I've done it. It lasted about 4 minutes.
Wasn't it great, the run, the second half, where he went down the left-hand side?
Yeah, I was on
Aaron Drinnan. I've got one for Kate. You might want to put your hands over your ears. Aaron Drinnan. He'd fall in a bucket of tits and come out sucking his thumb.
Cruncher, my mum's watching.
Oh, sorry. Hi. You'll get used to it. You'll get used to it.
Hello, Mother Riley.
That showed him, didn't it, that everything that he isn't. Drive towards goal, and somehow I don't know what he was doing. It was. And don't get me started about Sears. Don't get me started about Freddie Sears. He's another one.
I prefer him to Drinnan. At least he gets a shot away. Like, he's not on target, but Drinnan didn't.
He had an open goal.
Yeah, well, I've seen them missed, sadly, by us all the time. But it's another positive, another clean sheet. Hardly laid a glove on us, to be fair. I mean, we are clutching at straws here with the positivity.
I thought Holy looked
David-
all right yesterday. He done a really good save from Sermon's free kick, didn't he? That was a really good
Yeah.
save.
That was a smart save. Yeah, he got
Yeah, it
down
was a
well.
good save.
David Long. Hopefully,
Yeah.
Nydam can get more games and we'll see what he's about.
He had a little double save, didn't he? There was a cross that come in from the left.
Yes.
And it was that O'Reilly, was it? Had a couple of chances. But that was the bit where I was thinking, am I watching the replay here? It just seems so slow. But I thought Holy
It was like an end of season game, Matt. It was like an end of season. Players on the beach couldn't give a toss. Get on a summer holidays.
Do you remember when we did play? Well, it was actually the version of Wimbledon. We did play them last day of the season. They done us 5-1. Do you remember?
David Connolly. Yeah.
yeah. But I tell you, who was in their midfield yesterday, Josh McEachran. And he was
Good
really
player.
highly thought of when I was at the FA. Yeah. It was him. They felt that him and Wilshere could become the next Gerard Lampard, that kind of combo, when they were coming through the 16s, 17s, 19s. He looked really good. But, I mean, he's not one of these players that kind of lost his way.
The thing is with midfield players that are looking good against us currently, I'm a bit sceptical because you're playing against Teddy Bishop, Andre Dazelle, and returning
I've got a
Flynn Downs.
stat for you. You can all have a guess. This has come from my dad. Bearing in mind he does normally fall asleep quite a lot. He's a bit like you, Matt, watching the games. How many times do you think Teddy Bishop touched the ball in the first half?
3.
2.
He put in a couple of meaty tackles, didn't he? I'm going to go 4.
Yeah, Matt's correct. 4 times. That's
Didn't go on
appalling.
site to score your dad.
What do we do? Like you've got the new owners in now. You've got the new investment, new voice, new whatever. What do you do? Like, what's the first thing you do as a football club? What's Mike O'Leary or whoever the CEO is going to be? We think Ashton.
What's he thinking? What was Mike O'Leary thinking? Watching from the trying to stay awake. Most probably. Have you got another coffee? What is it?
Well, I've heard they were in training today. No rest day was given. That's what I've heard from a couple of people. Interesting. I heard there was maybe some meetings yesterday with O'Leary and some of the coaching staff. Again, just hearing reporting what I'm hearing. So, don't know what that means in terms of between now and the end of the season. But as me and Callie were talking, the playoffs, they're still staring us in the face. It's just...
It shows how poor the division is, Martin. There's only now Northampton and Bristol Rovers below us in goals scored.
But look, you're right about the division. Look how Lincoln have suddenly dropped off. Now, we thought they were going to get nailed on, finishing top at one point.
All right, Callie, 4 points. 3 points, 4 points. I'd say it's 5 points because the goal difference.
Yeah.
So is it?
So is it? Well, we've got to reassess. Maybe this is how third-tier teams play. You're good for a couple of weeks. You're crap for you're bad for a couple of weeks. That's just what we are now, and that's how this league is. And maybe it's just you got to treat every 5 games as a mini season. What can you get out of these 5 games?
Yeah,
and then you go from there. Because every team, as you just said there, Matt, Lincoln, they were romping away at one point. Posh were struggling at one point. Peterborough Pompey were a third for a long time. Then they dropped to below us. Now they're back.
Look at the quality of players. You look at the quality of players, Martin. Yesterday, Dembele, he's the only player now to be in double figures with goals and assists. And his quality, and we've talked, I think it was last week or the week before, about Cowley, what he's done at Portsmouth. I know they lost yesterday. But in the forward areas, these teams have got better players than we have. And that's ultimately where you're going to go. That's where the money needs to be spent in the summer, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Rich, go on, share your stat, what you shared with me on Twitter earlier about shots.
Which one was that?
How many minutes it's been since we had a shot?
215, but...
And that's the team that's aiming for playoffs.
Yeah. It's so cool, isn't it? It's so cool. We're going to miss out probably by about 2-3 points, I'd imagine.
But if you look at when we've done the halfway predictions, Matt, I think me and you, and I think Phil, you're out of it, Martin, because we told you at the time. I think we went for 69 or 70 points that we'd end on. So we're on 60 at the minute. We're not going to be far out.
No,
7 games to go.
We know our stuff.
They are winnable games on paper. They are winnable games, but is there any confidence going to AFC Wimbledon on Tuesday? They just had a great win away from home. I've got no confidence we can go there and roll them over. No chance.
And we drew 0-0 there last season.
That was a dreadful. Did you go to that, Martin?
Sorry, I was reading something else. I'm terribly sorry.
AFC Wimbledon. Did you go last? Did you go?
I've done a Kate. No.
Yeah,
No,
I
I didn't.
That was another awful game. Another awful game. Awful game, Matt, and an awful view that was.
Yeah, no one could see anything, could they? I mean, I think Cole Fuller posted the pictures of people's heads.
I remember that game for the fact that the whole fan base has spent the week slating Marcus and then sat 3 foot away from him and didn't say a single whisper to him. I just like, you've got him there. We can all see him. And no one's saying anything. It's like, oh, that's Marcus. Should we say something?
I think he was over the other side. He was over the other side. We didn't know he was there.
Of a tin can? Come on, Crunch. He could have heard you. It's not like you're going to the burner bow, is it? Where he's under.
Be respectful for Kingstonian. It's a nice little ground down there.
They're not there now, are they? They've gone back to Plough Lane, haven't they? The refurbed Plough Lane.
Yeah, new ground. First visit there.
James Kettle heard Dobra has created some of the last few games throughout the goal difference. Drogba. Dobra. Let's talk about him because yesterday I thought he looked okay, and I'd be all for putting young players in like Tyrese Simpson. I don't care if he's ready. I don't care if he's not ready. Just give me something different to look at for the next 8 games that I'm not going to go, I've watched you for the last 34 and you've been shocking in every one of them.
Colin in the chat, he's a big fan of Liam Gibbs, isn't he? And he says he should. Because that was a weird one when he got. Who did he get selected? It was against Charlton, wasn't it, when he played in that home game, that one game, and then he just disappeared. But I thought Dobra done all right, mine. Yes, he should have scored that one before half time. Should have scored. I thought he was a bit unlucky to be taken off. I thought he done all right. I'll tell you what, he was lucky he didn't get sent off. That tackle after 3 minutes. If that had been later in the game, I think the ref sort of thought, right, he's a young player. I'll give you a yellow. But when you watch it on the replay. It was not a very clever tackle.
No. On Lewington as well, poor old boy. Yeah. Dobra should have scored that chance. He knew it. It's the problem, isn't it? We don't create enough. We're not shooting enough, right? And when we do get an opportunity, it goes millimetres wide. It's just fine lines, isn't it? Sliding door moments to our future. You pick up another 2 points instead of 1, gets you into the playoffs.
We had 3 really good chances yesterday. The Dobra one, there was the Sears open goal, but the other Sears chance where he cut in on his right foot, he should have hit the target. I think he should have scored there.
Yeah.
But at least he got in those positions and he got it out of his feet and he got the shot away. Drillen, he was through on goal. A better player sets him. I was saying this to somebody yesterday. Sets himself shoot. He wanted like.
I don't know where he was going. Minutes. I don't know what he was doing. He
got a nosebleed. He's a centre half. He's 1 goal to tackle. Excuse me, man.
That's what he thinks.
I don't think Stridder's or he could either.
The problem with Sears, he's so busy, isn't he? Like trying to get involved. It ends up like hampering us because he had that chance he should have scored when he chipped the keeper, and then he blocked someone's shot on the edge of the box. Was it Judge? That looked goal bound, didn't it? He blocked that himself. It's just it's just slapstick. It's just comedy, isn't it? The harder they try, the worse it looks, I think.
Not even funny though, is it? Watching it's just. Anyway, best result. Yes. Go on, Kate.
No, I just don't know why the players haven't reacted to a new manager the way we were all hoping. I don't know why the players haven't reacted to the news that, the takeover news, chance for them to prove themselves. Yeah. This is the biggest story Town have had for a generation.
Yeah.
We've got a fairly easy run now to the playoffs if you look at our opponents, and we just don't look like we want it.
It's really odd, isn't it? You can't put your finger on it.
Yeah.
I think we need to get away from because we're Ipswich Town and we think that we are a big club. Obviously, we've won trophies, but I think at the minute we need to realise that we're just not very good. We're just not very good, and the players are just. Like Martin said before earlier in the season, and I don't think it's just us, me and Matt, who've said a new manager will come in and it'll get us in the players. I think if you listen to Mick Mills on the radio, and a lot of people have expected a lot more of this squad, and just ultimately they're not going to. We've taken 10 points from how many games? 9 games now. Even a half decent run would have seen us in the players, but they're just not up to it. They're just not up to it. And in the end, in the summer, they're not going to be playing for Ipswich next season. They're probably going to be playing for Barrow or Harrogate or Sutton United, teams like that, and they'll think, "Oh, I wish I'd have tried a little bit harder."
I told you all. I don't want to say I told you so, but I'm going to say it. I told you all. And I even told this man who said a better manager just needs to get 5% more out of these players. And he still thinks that, don't you, Mike?
Hi, Mike.
Hi, guys. How are you today? All right.
You all right, mate?
Very well.
You're on
I know you're...
best behaviour.
You know what? I've been looking at all these stats and everything that and although I agree to a point what you're saying, Martin, I had to ask this question: is Paul Cook the right man? Because what
Behave.
No,
on Tuesday night, on Wednesday night, right? On Wednesday night, you said the season's over and you couldn't give a toss.
Let me have my say, right?
That's what you said.
I'm not saying he should go. I'm not saying what's saying. I'm asking that question because, in fairness, what has changed? What has changed? Nothing has changed. He knew. Look, any manager that comes into this club knows full well them players ain't worth a. The most expensive players probably worth £10,000 if we sold him on. That's how poor they've been this year. Yeah, right.
I think Downs is worth more.
Who?
Downs.
Oh, what Downs? All right, Downs. Okay.
Wolfenden.
Right, we'll give him 15,000 then. How many times has he been injured? The reality is, right? Paul Cook's come in, and he's still playing the same drossy players. Aaron Drinan, Andre Giselle, who's...
Hang on, Mike.
What?
Mike. I read your Twitter the other day when the reserve, the 23s had won 4-2. Drinan and Dobra played, and you said they should be playing on Saturday. Well, they played yesterday.
I said play the whole team. I didn't just say them, did I?
They did play
the whole team. There's a big difference between, there's not enough. Look, I'm not convinced that Paul Cook's the right man. That's just my opinion. I'm entitled to it. You can disagree all you like, but what has he proven any different to what Lambert's done? What improvement has there been? And Martin, I was the first one. I agree with you. I said, look, a new manager would get better out of this team. But in fairness, a new manager hasn't got better out of this team.
Say the words,
It's
Mike.
like me, Mike. It's like me, Mike, using your fishing rods and go. It's like me going fishing and using your fishing rods and not having a clue how they work. But when I get my own fishing rods, I know how they work. And I catch a lot of fish.
Is a fishing rod, the same as a footballer is a footballer. If you're a professional coach, you should know that players. I mean, no disrespect, but why is he persistent with dreadful Drinan? Because I can't get a head around that one. And then I was like, Ward again over Kenlock. I mean, again, like I said, if this was Lambert, if I'm telling you now, if this had been Lambert yesterday, not coming out to the press, not getting that result like he did the last two games, we would all on this forum, on this podcast right now, be absolutely slaughtering him. So what's changed? Tell me what's changed. Nothing's changed. We go from a high getting a new manager to a low and not getting the results. We get a high of new ownership and we go back to the low of two shocking results. I mean, let's be fair. We it's very easy for us fans to be blindsided by. I want to know where this extra effort has gone from the players because there is no effort. Downs probably and Toto were the two probably best players on the pitch yesterday. You had Nydam come in, didn't look too bad. Dobra didn't look too bad, but come on.
Cheers, Pep. It's got a point.
Right round body.
Sorry, I couldn't resist it. Look, you're going to get me. Look, Paul Cook is the only man. All right, there's been a few rumours circulating that he wasn't the first man. As far as I'm concerned, was the only man. He is our manager. He's going to be our manager, as far as I'm aware. We've got to sort of stand behind him. And I've told you for a long time, Mike, these players aren't good. They're not good. And they're proving it. They're not losing games because they're not the worst in the division. They're just lacking that required quality to be a top 8 side, which, is a surprise. And it hurts because everyone thinks we're Ipswich Town 2 years removed from the championship and we should be sort of, top 4, certainly. But that's more of a statement on the old ownership.
I do agree to a point with what you're saying, Mike, because I did think when he came in, and I think Matt will probably be the same. I did think he'd get more out of them.
Yeah, that's the thing I can't understand. But again, you know, we looked at. I looked at the squad yesterday. You pinged me over the WhatsApp, didn't you, Rich? Of the team. I looked at it and I just went, oh my days. I just see Drinnan and Ward on there, and that was like, well, this is it, 0-0 most. I went for 3-1 loss.
Where was Jackson? Was Jackson injured?
He was
selected?
From the notes I got from the press conference, he was just not selected, Matt.
So if he wasn't selected, our other striker's more worried about social media than actually playing football. So who else can we? But Kate, look, I think Kate thinks that they're just not fit because we were on the MK Dons forum, weren't we, yesterday, and you brought up about when they done the double training sessions and they couldn't handle that. So that's like I said, Mike. They start the game for about 15-20 minutes. We're pressing high intensity, and then they drop right off.
Yeah, but we're playing 2 games a week, right? That's what I've been. I mean, normal seasons that wouldn't normally happen. Yeah, how can they not be fit? That's the thing I can't get my head around. I'd accept it if we were playing once a week and maybe they're not having enough training. But we're you know, 2 games a week plus training sessions. How can they not be fit?
Well, they're not fit enough.
Jackson was collecting trolleys at Tesco's. Says Stiggy.
The thing is, if you look at our transfer market history, we've spent money on a right back. Like we've not. With this is what you're seeing play out now. Is the years of just not investing in the right areas. We put $1.5 million, I think, into Jackson. Wasn't picked yesterday. You've put how much I don't know into Norwood. You can speculate in terms of what he's on, etc. He isn't playing. You've then got a young player coming through that I don't think anybody truly expected to play as many games as he has done in Aaron Drinnan, but he has. Again, you can look at our talent ID. Was that good enough? Do you even think he was good enough for the championship at the time? Certainly not. And then you got Ollie Hawkins, who I'd rather stick. I'm not going to go there, really. I'd have
played him instead of Drinnan.
Based on what? Based on what? On his fantastic goal scoring record over the last 5 years.
Because at least he can, if you get players round him. Look, I don't rate him at all, but get players round him and maybe go a bit longer.
Who's better, Hawkins or Drinnan?
That's a terrible competition, that isn't it? Flipping heck, who won the pony on that one?
I mean, imagine if Paul Cook decided to play Hawkins and Drinnan up front. If that happened yesterday, would everybody still be so pro Cook?
Out of despair. No, but he's working with
that's all he's got
in the show. He's working with salmonella infused ingredients. They won't be here next season. They will not be here next season. Whoever manager is, whatever rumor you believe about the management structure or Paul Cook or whatever, I don't believe those 2 players will be here next season. Our talent ID has been atrocious.
It's hard to disagree with what Mike's saying there, especially when you've got Parrott sitting on the bench who plays for Ireland. And you think, we'll go with Drinnan instead.
And he scored the other day.
Still only got 1 goal, though. He's still only got 1 goal.
Do you not think it was a tactical selection with Drinnan? Because obviously MK Dons, 3rd highest possession rating in Europe. They keep the ball. But as Mick Mills said, they're being asked to play at a level that's not really them. Yeah. And when Drinnan, to his credit, did what Drinnan does best, and that's run around like a bull in a china shop and just look busy, he did create pressure that made them sloppy in possession. Now, he's not a cutting edge, but maybe that was the tactical thinking behind Paul Cook there, where get someone like Aaron Drinnan running at him, pressure him, hurry him, make him have no time on the ball, and then you can pick off the loose touches and whatnot. And it did work for a period.
You might as well get someone from athletics then. Look, you're a 400-meter runner. Go round the play as a top striker, run around, chase everything. You're not.
Lee says there. Look, Lee says there, Mike. We needed pace to close them down. Tactical error not to play Jackson. But what's Jackson done lately? What's he done this season? He don't even want to be there. He don't look interested one iota.
He's had his head turned too much, isn't he?
He's another one. He goes in the summer. He goes as well.
How many players do we keep in the summer? Because
none of them.
Not many. Who are you keeping, Kate? Who are you keeping?
None.
I love you, Kate. You're brilliant. That is exactly what we want to hear.
Don't start with him.
Right, Mike. Yeah, we appreciate it.
Did I steal your thunder a bit there, darling?
No, maybe we keep Chambers and the rest can go.
We'll just keep Chambers,
no. Chambers has to go. No.
Oh, look, your face turned there, didn't it?
No, Chambers, no.
It was going so well.
Oh dear.
Right, Mike, we appreciate you. Look after yourself.
Hey, you guys, take care.
See you, mate.
As Freddie said, though, after the Portsmouth game, the front three behind the one just aren't good enough. And again, yesterday they weren't good enough, were they? Edwards, Dobra showed patches, but overall wasn't the best we've seen in that role.
I think, Martin, there was confusion in the tactics because even Mick Mills was confused on the radio. And this is like captain. He has captained England at a World Cup. Even he thought Gwyn Edwards was playing some kind of wing-back role, a 3-5-2. Then Stu Watson, the lads at East Anglia put out, it's a 4-4-1-1. I don't know, it just seemed like there was confusion. Maybe from the right flank to the left flank because he said very isolated on the left.
All due respect, though, Matt, Crunch, Kate, I know that they're great journalists, but they're journalists. Mick Mills has played the game. If you're going to give me two opinions with some stats behind it, I'm going to take the one that's played the game.
I think everyone's. There you go. We can't see the whole pitch, can we? We can't see the whole pitch on the camera. I think if you're in the stadium, you've got to
Marcus did say it looks different, Matt, watching it than it does on iFollow.
Yeah,
he did say that.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring.
I've seen the overall formation is different. I think not the chance.
Let's bring in the main man. He wasn't here yesterday for whatever reason. I missed you. It's our resident beep, Jimmy.
Here he is. Do you know what, Stephen? I was thinking of you at 5 o'clock this morning. My smoke alarm went off.
Yeah, I was up at 5 o'clock this morning.
Nightmare world. Yeah.
I couldn't sleep at all last night. I was up at 5 o'clock this morning as well. No, like I said, I watched the show yesterday and I watched the show Thursday. I saw the positivity on Thursday, and I'm just sat there thinking, like, I want to say something because, why was there so much positivity Thursday? I know we had the takeover and all that, but I honestly could not see this translate to the pitch. And I said we'd lose to MK. Yeah. So I'm quite happy we got a draw because I thought we'd lose. So they're talking about, I just didn't see any translation from the takeover to the pitch. I couldn't. I didn't see when
there won't be, will there, Stephen? There's not going to be no change on the pitch.
There'd be worse change because with Evans there, there'd be more chance of some of them getting a contract. With Evans not there, there's no chance of some of them getting a contract. They're thinking like, well, we're gone anyway. What's the point? What's the point even trying? We're going. All these forwards need to go. Fucking Norwood. I'm not being bothered about his social media. The guy is a sick note. What's the point of having a striker who can score goals if he's never fit? We have this, and I'm not having this. Well, the club makes them sick. Chambers plays every bloody game, and he's nearly 40. So if he can keep himself fit, the others can.
It was like Mick Mills said, Stephen. Mick Mills said the other week when he was talking about when he was injured, and when he was playing, he'd always go to the physio and ask him, if I play, will it make the injury worse? And if they said no, he'll play. This is the problem, not just with Norwood, it's with players in general nowadays. They're too mollycoddled, too cotton-wooled. They get a little knock, they've got to sit in the treatment room.
Well, I think we had that partly with Didsley, because he couldn't be bothered travelling from Derby every bastard day. Pardon the French. No, so seriously, when things are going badly, players don't want to play because they don't want to be in a team that people are going, you didn't play very well.
Cook said that, didn't he? Cook said that last week.
I might shy away from this one. I've got a sore groin. We've all done it when we don't feel like going to work. I feel like I've got flu. We've all done it. It's not going to be rocket science for a player to say I pulled my groin. You know what I mean? So all they have to do is say I pulled my groin, and as Crunch says, go to physio and say, will it work? Will it make it worse if I train on it? If he says yes, that's it. Immediate 2 weeks off. Just go home for 2 weeks, and then he's there on his bloody Twitter. Just sod him. I'd get rid of all the strikers. They're all useless. Bring in a couple of new ones. Yeah. If we're playing one up top, we've got one and then a spur. If we get a bad injury, we've got a loan and we've got youths. That'd be ample. Then
Steve,
the other three. Yeah.
Would you bring Alex Gilead in?
No, we don't need him then. Look, that was.
Flatty's got his pajamas on. He said, there he is. Look, Flatty's still got his Alex Gilead PJs on.
That was for the time. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a different time now.
We're in a different era. Yeah. We will be able to offer wages. I still say we had a salary cap when Evans was here because there were players that were leaving that we could have offered more money to and probably would have stayed.
Yeah.
But other clubs were offering more money. That might not happen now. With a lot of free transfers up for sale, there's no, we could offer wages and save on fees. there's deals to be done. And I think, we can wipe out the Alex Gileads and people like that. We can look for a better quality and much better quality than what we got. We have no chance of going up this season. We're just not good enough. We're good. We're right defensively. We're the top 3 defensively, but we're like the bottom 3 attacking wise. We know where our problem is. And if you don't score, you can't win. Best we could get is 0-0 draws for the rest of the season. That's not enough.
Absolutely. Steve, appreciate it. Really good points in there. Thanks ever so much.
Well,
Matt,
Steve, good to see
hard
you.
to disagree with him, really, isn't it?
Yeah, sensible. I was thinking back. Do you remember when Keane had his first full season with us and we kept drawing games, didn't we? We were
21 games that season or something.
Like crazy. Yeah, and he said in his book, in the second volume of his book, he said the reason being was we didn't have any decent strikers. He said it tells his own story. We couldn't get over the line of turning 1 into 3 points, and we've got exactly the same problem now, albeit in the 3rd tier. We just haven't got that quality.
See, that's why defensively, when Kate says about Chambers staying, I know Martin and Matt, you'll probably say no, but we don't really need to change much at the back. Sign another left back, and that'd be about it. Look,
who would have thought? Who would have thought Toto would be that rock? I mean, he's probably our player of the year. Like
player of the year.
The thing with Chambers is, without wanting to go over old ground, you don't need to have somebody come in. Somebody coming in is not going to have that much of a different drop off. Like Corey and Darber isn't going to play. Like yesterday, I didn't think, oh my God, if we lose Kenlock or Ward or Chambers or Donastian or Kane Vincent-Young even, we're not going to go up next year. Like, we need a striker. If you let Chambers walk, you can use the money elsewhere. Yes, we've got more money, but you need to be wise with it. Shrewd.
It's funny though, isn't it? Because you look on the socials after a game, we win, we've let a goal in, it's Chambers' fault. We draw, it's Chambers' fault. We've had a 0-0 draw, we've kept a clean sheet, 3 clean sheets out of 4. It's Luke Chambers' fault, and people need to just get off his back.
No, you need a break. The fans and the club and the players need a clean break. At some point, you've got to rip that Band-Aid off. You just got to do it. Same with Cole Skewes. You can't. Russell Martin yesterday was a Norwich legend. At some point, they just said, right, we've got to rip that Band-Aid off and say goodbye because the level of play we need is not what you're performing at.
I still think he's good enough for this level that we're at the minute. Personally,
he might be good enough. He might be good enough, Rich, but we've now got a new manager in. Probably gonna have a new assistant manager coming in over the summer. We've now got new owners.
He'll have no experience. If he gets rid of Chambers, he'll have no experience in that squad. Where's your experience?
You've still got the same. You've still got the same voice. You've still got the same voice that's hung over from the relegation season.
Yeah, I do get that. I do get that when you say. I totally agree with that. But personally, I'd keep him. I don't know if Kate was winding Mike up there. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but so have we, Lee.
A little bit.
Kate's the wind up. Lee Anderson's yes, but Norwich had money to replace. Well, so have we.
Well, we have now.
Now
he's keen on. He's keen on Evans, isn't he? Lee Evans from Wigan, from what we've been told, which I thought he probably would be because he's worked with him. He's going to go back to
Dunkley. Is Dunkley still at Wigan, Matt?
Who's that, sorry?
Dunkley. No, centre back.
I don't know.
But you don't need defenders. You don't need defenders.
We were linked with Will Grigg the other day.
Oh, he can stay where he is. He was on the pitch yesterday, wasn't
he? He looks a shadow of his former self, doesn't he?
Don't believe the hype.
No, let's bring Callie in. Callie, you were talking about playoffs.
Hi, Callie.
With me this morning. What? Don't get shy now, son.
No, listen. I've said it from the beginning of the season. The league's that bad, which is why Lambert's job was okay for so long. We're still within the playoffs right till the end. I said before, come the end of the season, we'll be that close to the end of the playoffs. So the belief will be there. The fact is, we're not chasing 6th, we're chasing 5th. Because if you look at the games we've played, and we played an extra game, I think, or whatever, like we said before, like Rich said earlier about goal difference. So that's another point there. So realistically, it's 2 wins we need more than the other the teams above us. The only team we can take points off above us is Charlton, because we're not playing anyone else from there. But we just got to have then hopefully a bit of faith that the other results go our way. Which,
but that's Callie. That's when it's dodgy. When it's out of your hands.
That's why we've just got
want it to be in your hands, don't you? Really, you're in the lap of the gods, really, now, aren't we?
No, absolutely. But you've just got to concentrate on what we're doing. So we're defensive, like we said before.
Having a shot might help.
This is it. I have to bow down to Lee Anderson's superior knowledge and admit he was absolutely right about James Norwood. Right, he's the striker we need. Without James Norwood, we don't score goals, and that's evident.
He's injured.
Right? He's
injured
again. I know he's injured,
No good.
Yeah, I know he's injured.
No good.
Listen, I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is without him, we don't score goals, right? And that's a fact. No one else is scoring goals. We had a few midfielders have a purple badge. The best Statman put a stat out there on about the game, and I think that team in the last so many years has scored 48 goals or something, and without Chambers, it's 30 goals. So Chambers is scoring and assisting more than most anyway, and that tells you something. That's how bad we are. We got the worst. We can't score goals. I get that, but you gotta believe that if Norwood gets a run out on Tuesday and he starts on Saturday, and we can get a couple of goals. Or say Dobra, he had rustiness, so he missed that chance, right? He's maybe a bit of confidence. Maybe
you know that word "if," Callie. You know that word "if." It's a very small word. If what's the saying, Martin? Go on. If
we've got our wheels. Yeah. No, but I get that. But it's just like we're still in it. We're not mathematically out of it. And Martin, I think you want to say something. You're on mute, Martin. You're on mute.
I am. I do apologise. So I was eating some brownie. Sorry, I was just having some brownie, listening to Callie tell me how we're still in the playoffs. I was living the life of luxury.
I just got to believe, man.
You have, and that's the part of the football. That is a football fan. You've got to believe. Kate, James Norwood, best striker at the football club. Isn't that more of a statement of where the football club is when your best striker can only play like 10, 15 games a season?
Yeah, it's just a really sad state of affairs. When we signed him, I was quite excited about that. And I guess I was guilty of sort of getting swept up in the enthusiasm of his signing. But really, to only be playing such a small fraction of the season, it's just very sad. And also, fine, play that small fraction of the season, but then score lots of goals when you're fit to make up for when you're out injured. But yeah, just the fact that we can't rely on him to be fit, it's disappointing for the people behind the scenes, and then it's also just very disappointing the state of affairs with the individual.
Absolutely. And I know you want to talk about Paul Cook's press conferences, etc. in a while. So I'm going to bring Ben in a second. Callie, if we beat Wimbledon and Charlton, you're right. We're right back in it. But can you see us going to beat a resurgent Charlton under the man we maybe should have looked at in Adkins?
I couldn't see us beating Hull before, so never say never, man. You never know. This league's mad. I'm telling you, the last game of the season, we could be in it. We could mathematically be in it within the playoffs because people are taking points of everything. The league is so shit, and unfortunately, we're just that mid-level turd just floating around. Do you know what I mean? So, sorry.
Such a lovely way of putting it. Callie, I love you.
I think Callie's correct in that if we win 5 of the 7 games, you'd probably be in the playoffs, wouldn't you? 75 points.
Me granddad Will should be a
just before I go, I'll say, because the league's bad, you wouldn't even need 5 of the 7. I'm saying you might need 3 of the 7. And maybe a draw or 2 there.
I think you wouldn't get in with 70. You wouldn't get in with 70.
It's got to be at least 70, 72, I would say.
Okay. Callie, I love you. Appreciate you.
Cheers, Callie.
Ben, how many games do we need to win? Or are you saying, look, Callie, what are you doing, man? We're not even near the playoffs. It's a joke.
I've crashed.
Have you? Okay. Ben, you there?
Is he all right?
I don't know. Somebody send a message to Ben, make sure he's doing all right. If you had to have your gut answer for you, playoffs still a chance, yes or no? What would you say, Matt?
I would say no, because I think we're going to miss out by probably 2 or 3 points. We'll probably end up with probably 70 points. It won't be enough because of all these lost chances.
Gut says no, heart says yes.
Crunch?
No chance.
No chance. All right.
There
now,
isn't.
Paul
There
Cook.
isn't. We're going to finish 8th. We'll finish where we are at the minute.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to Paul Cook and the press conferences. Friday was cancelled. Yesterday he didn't do one. Kate, you're obviously a seasoned journalist. What's your take on that? What's your opinion on that one?
I didn't realise that he didn't speak to the press afterwards until I was doing my research for the show earlier. And I was just really shocked. Also dismayed that we didn't get an explanation as to why. And I just feel that if we have American owners, they're used to the culture in the NFL. And I feel that in the NFL, managers are become more passionate when the team lose. And if that's what our owners are used to, and the fact that our owner hasn't done 2 back-to-back interviews now, you just do have to wonder what that is sending out to the fans, what kind of message that is, and what's going on. Just from a PR point of view, I don't think it's the best one. Yeah, that's it.
No, but well, Matt, you're obviously another seasoned journalist among us.
I think my take on it, right, is there was expectation that he was going to do this post-match because he didn't do, because of the takeover and everything, he didn't do his normal pre-match conference. So they've been quite transparent with all the local media gang and said, look, he'll answer your questions and do the takeover stuff post-game. So that now brings the expectation because people are waiting to hear what he's going to say on it. And of course, lo and behold, he doesn't rock up and do that. And I just see the guys in the chat there saying he didn't do the I follow either, that is a bit weird to me. Not to do the club channel, is a bit strange. I mean, I'm told that he was probably in the dressing room. I think East Anglian lad said that yesterday he was still in the dressing room with the players because he does his media quite quick. To be fair to him, so it was often that BBC Suffolk would go off air at 6, and he still hadn't spoken to Lambert. But I think with Cook, he seems to come out and do the post-match stuff pretty quickly. So that's credit to him. So, again, maybe he was just a victim of his own enthusiasm to give local media stories because, he didn't hit the deadline that they wanted on this particular occasion. And he's been very, on the front foot with them previously. But yeah, it was a bit strange. But, it's not strange in the fact that, lots of clubs do send out their number 2s to do post-match media. That does happen quite a lot.
Can I just reply to Chris Blake's comment there? And yeah, that's like completely up to Paul if he doesn't want to talk about the takeover. Just to give you some insight, there have been so many instances over the years for me, for loads of other journalists, whereby like you'll go to do your interview and then the press officer will say, okay, no questions about the takeover. And okay, so you won't ask any questions about the takeover because you know that you won't get invited back to do interviews next week. So I guess the press officer at Town could have just said to the BBC or whatever, Paul's not going to answer any questions about the takeover. Let's just talk about the game only. And that's all it would have taken. And instead now we've got this like weird thing going on.
Yeah, then it goes on. You're right, Kate. Then it goes on social media, doesn't it? But he did say there was hallmarks of this in the Rochdale game post-match when he said, "I've really got nothing else to say to you about the performances because I'll be repeating myself, and you guys have been watching the games for the last year. I've got nothing else to say."
He's the manager, Matt. Well. He should have an obligation to come out and speak because fair enough, not doing Friday, then he didn't do yesterday, and I know Kate said about the takeover, but surely. Just come out and talk about it, put it to bed, and then it's gone. And then the next, you can just move on then. Because will he do press tomorrow before Wimbledon? Or
probably not.
It's just. Then you get the rumours. Then you get the rumours. The forum. Paul Cook's going to walk and all this, and then you think.
What's strange? I don't know. I'll have to look up what the rules are with EFL clubs, but I know EPL clubs. The managers are obliged. There's something in the contract to speak to TV broadcasters or to speak to other journalists. So it's interesting that perhaps we're not seeing the same commitment or obligations in the EFL.
Yeah. Rob Hughes makes an interesting comment. If, as Gil said, there was plenty of positive to talk about, he didn't need to be in the dressing room reading the Riot Act. Matt Gill, surprise to everybody about the takeover. All right, I mean everybody, but except this podcast because we were there bang on time broadcasting. Yeah. So it wasn't a surprise to anybody. So I'm surprised to hear that come out, or certainly said. Do you think there's any truth in that? Do you think what's your feeling on when you got your sister?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, like Kate just said there, he would have been you would like to think he'd have been briefed before he went into the media area. to speak to everybody what to say about the takeover, I think I would have said, I think bottom of the list would have been, it was a surprise to everybody. You know, you'd say, oh, yes, great. You know, we've met Mike O'Leary. It was great. He was in the director's box today. There's at least 100 different answers you could give other than it was a surprise to everybody. I don't believe that. Certainly was not a surprise to us. I can't see how it being a surprise to the first team coach.
Yeah. It's an interesting one. So from stuff that I've understood and spoken about, him not doing press conferences is nothing to worry about. It's the idea is to let the forward-facing members of the consortium deal with the takeover narrative and talk and all of that. And there's a lot of change going on at the football club at the moment. I just maybe that turn of phrase from Gilly didn't quite help in terms of the smoke. No, because if your number one's coming out or not coming out, as the case may be, Crunch, and then your number three is coming out or number two is coming out and saying, "Well, a surprise for everybody." It's sort of dampening. It's sort of flaming the flame, isn't it? I
think Cook he probably can't wait for the end of the season to get this season out of the way, get it moving, get the players out that he needs to get out, and just forget about it, because we're not going forward on the pitch. He's trying all. Go on, Matt.
Yeah, I was going to say why. Sorry, I was going to say, why would anyone think he's going to walk? The guy's a serial winner. He's won 3 titles in the last 8 years in the lower leagues. From what I can
gather, and what's doing the round, sorry, Matt, to cut across you, what's doing around the moment on Twitter at the moment this morning as we're live is a couple of tweets where apparently Cook's not happy with the proposed structure, wants more of a say over transfers rather than letting the CIO take control, etc. That's what the rumour going around.
Yeah, that's interesting you should say that, because someone I know very well who's worked with Cook previously said it would be very interesting to see how he works with the American setup. So he said to me probably about a month ago.
I've got to sit this one out. I can't.
Yeah, I know. I know. That's interesting. He's very hands-on on transfers, Cook. He likes to bring in the people, and we know he's had success.
He's probably old school, isn't he, Matt? He's old school, isn't he? I think he's in your Mick McCarthy mould, I think.
Yeah, I would say he's like that, but probably, but with a nod to the data and the analytics of people he wants to bring in. So,
But from what we've already gathered, and I'm going to go off with what was publicly known now, Mike O'Leary has already said, we'll talk with Paul and we'll get a list from Paul. That to me says Paul has got as much say as Lambert did, as McCarthy did, because everyone used to say, I'll give my list to Marcus and then we'll see what sort of turns up. So on that basis, that tells me, Crunch, that Cook has got a say in what happens, or certainly here's my proposed list. How does that match up with your analytical Windows 95 setup?
Yeah, I think people are putting 2 and 2 together and getting 5, haven't they, really?
Yeah.
But he hasn't. He probably hasn't helped the situation, has he? By not doing the press, because that's when the little rumours start. And I don't know. He's not going anywhere, is he? Come on, he's not coming here when he's turned down jobs in the Championship, surely. But I did say, Matt, I'm sure he must have. I don't think he came here to work under Evans anyway. Did Evans not tell him the full picture of what was happening?
We knew what was happening.
Did I dream it that he was told when Cook signed on at Ipswich that the new owners also wanted him to continue and that they were happy with him as a manager? I didn't dream it.
Number one choice.
Yeah. They
number one choice.
Mike O'Leary said we compared lists, Marcus lists, and our list, and we had the same man at the top of the list.
They compared the list. Did they compare the list, or did they create the list? that's I don't know.
We are in an age, as Rich rightly said, we are now in an age where every little throwaway comment that is reported on social media, being the worst of it, is blown up. 2 and 2, as Rich rightly says, makes 5. What a great line to feel about. It's muddied the waters a little bit. It's not been helpful at all.
Yeah, so the best thing to combat that is just to get out in front of it and own it.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
Carry on talking about yourself. I'm just reading my notes to see if I missed anything, if I can divulge a little bit.
So there's a comment there from Facebook user. He's walked quickly before. He's not afraid to do so. I don't think he walked quickly when he was at Wigan, was he?
No, he was put into a position there. I mean, you could say he left Pompey quite quickly, but he wanted to go back to Wigan. He wanted to go back to the Northwest. But he delivered the title there. Delivered the title.
But he said to me yesterday that was quite interesting, and nobody official, but Wigan just been taken over. If they stay within within League One. Is that a possibility that instead of Liam Richardson coming this way, Liam goes to a number 2 and Paul goes that way? I can't give you an answer on that. I don't know. That was just somebody a friend of mine told me.
Well, if it's not been put deliberately into administration by those owners at Wigan, it'd still be there now. So his hand was forced a little bit there, wasn't it? But
it was.
I don't know.
I don't believe he's going to walk. Obviously, I don't know Paul Cook. I never spoke to Paul Cook. Don't know his internal thinking. I suspect what EJ Norris said up here a little bit earlier was more or less spot on. Nothing to talk about. Can't tell you anything that you hadn't heard on Monday. Probably, maybe as a pride, embarrassed. He's very prideful. His team just drew 0-0 second game in a row without a shot on target. It's not his arrow was pointing firmly up when he arrived. You don't want to be sort of associated with that too much.
As JT says in the talk there, he'd be mad to walk away. He don't come across as that kind of character. But managers do get embarrassed by things. Remember, Keane didn't come out on the end of season parade around the pitch. He said, I was too embarrassed to come out.
Exactly. Nobody else was spoken to. It's my understanding that nobody else from the consortium side was in the running. I've heard rumours that Appleton was their number 1 choice. They never spoke with him. They never met with him. That's my understanding of the situation. My understanding is that Paul Cook was and is their number 1 desired choice. And from there, we'll have to just see how it plays out. But I don't believe he'll be walking. You watch him next 10 minutes. You watch. You watch. Next 10 minutes. I keep refreshing my email.
Just say worst case scenario, that did happen. For whatever reason, that did happen. We're now in a position where we can actually attract, a good candidate.
Yeah, it's interesting time.
Do you know whose name's been mentioned on the forum, Matt?
Say that again.
Do you know whose name's been mentioned on the forum?
Frank
Lampard.
Oh, for fuck! I tell you, that's just that's laziness, isn't it? That's taking Didier Drogba, taking that and just smashing it together until it can fit. I wouldn't believe a word that forum says sometimes. I really would. Anyway,
Tesco's when he Matt getting a meal deal.
He was, BLT, an orange.
BLT.
An orange juice and a packet of Monster Munch.
What crisps? Do you reckon he'd go for Monster Munch, Drogba? What do you reckon, Kate? Didier Drogba's go-to crisps.
Pickled onion.
Skips. I like the old Skips. That's a good job. Yeah, that's a good job.
Colin,
talk to us. What do you think of it?
Fine. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. Hello, Kate. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Great to have you on.
Thank you. Hi, Rich. Hi, Matt.
Oh, you are going to say hello to us? Oh. Forget about us.
Hey, Rich. Hey, hold on. You know what I think of you? I love you, mate.
Oh, thanks.
Right. Okay, let's go. Right, Martin. What do you want me to answer questions on?
What's your point? You come on the show. You've got something to say about your football club. Let us hear what it is.
Well, I wouldn't like to think Paul Cook is going to walk. I don't think. It's easy for us to say. It's easy for us all to say. I honestly don't think he will. And like Rich just said, about on forums and stuff, Frank Lavender. I mean, I think we can take it or leave all that stuff, but I'd be very surprised if Cookie left. I like everybody else. I honestly believe he knew he kind of knew what was going on. I think he knew what was going to go on as regards to takeover and whatever. And I believe that, and I totally agree with Rich here again. I know everybody's probably thinking, oh, no, I do totally agree with him in as much as I honestly don't think he took this job if he didn't know what was going on. He knew there was going to be a little bit of investment and a little bit of help, if you like, going on behind the scenes. And I'd be absolutely amazed. The bottom line is I'd be absolutely amazed if he walked from this football club. Not only on from the view of about what's being said and that he's I'm not being disrespectful. I mean, Portsmouth maybe, but the rest of the clubs he's played, they're not in our street, man. As regards like a football club, we're not a massive football club, but we're a big football club. There's a difference. And Paul Cook knows that. If I was Paul Cook and I was earning probably what he's earning right now, and I'm manager of Ipswich Town Football Club, forget about the fact that I support them. If I was Paul Cook, there's no way in the world, man, I'd want to be jumping that ship, especially with what's going on and what's going to be going on, and also, with the potential. I mean, right now I'm like everybody else. I'm a bit in the dumps, like we all are, but I can see a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel, well, quite a bit bigger light at the end of the tunnel. And I think if he bears with it and he gets quite a bit of investment and he gets the right players in, which I'm absolutely positive he's got his mind on about at least 5, 6, maybe 7 players, this club could really start off. And like I said in the chat today, we must believe. I really haven't got much time at all for anybody who just don't believe. If you've played any kind of sport or you follow sport, something a club that you love, you must never give in, especially like when the points difference, like it is at the moment, is within touching distance, really. What I would say to the players, right? What I would say to the players is, you've got a game down at Wimbledon. Okay, they won 5-1 yesterday. Okay, fantastic result. But predominantly, most of the season they've been awful. Let's go down to Wimbledon. Apparently, it's a very good surface on the new ground. Let's go down there. Let's be 100%, all of us. Let's get even a 1-0 win. Let's go on to Cheltenham. The same again. Let's get another 1-0, 2-1 win, and we are bang back in it. That's my opinion.
But we've watched them play Rochdale, didn't have a shot. We've watched them play Wigan, had 4 shots. We watched yesterday, we had no shots. There's nothing there, Colin, to say that we're going to go to these grounds. They'll be fancying their chances against us.
Rich, I'm not disagreeing with you one little bit. You know what it's like.
You got hope.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, some of the comments you made earlier, Rich, I totally agree with. I'll put it in the chat. I totally agree with. But I can't believe that some of these players. I can, because I'm being hypocritical here. Goodness gracious! I mean, Jackson, like I said in the chat earlier, I wouldn't even have him anywhere near the club. But he was bought by a person who really wasn't a very good manager. But what did we pay for him? 1 point whatever million.
Yeah, it was.
Surely somebody must have seen something in him, and I can't for the life of me understand the mentality of some of these players. I really can't. I mean, if he wants away, why isn't he pulling the lovely iconic blue shirt on and trying to get a hat trick to get a transfer, for God's sake? I don't understand their mentality. I really don't.
No,
I'm on mute. I don't know where this. I was sending an email. I'm sorry. I don't know where this accusation towards Caden Jackson has come from in regards to whether he wants to be here or not. I feel very, very uncomfortable questioning a player's commitment and effort.
You look at his body language, mine. That's a lot for me.
I'd look fucking pissed off in this team. I'm fed on scraps. I'm fed on 1 ball a game. I mean, everyone says to me, "You can't judge Brennan. He's not getting any chances." Well, how can we judge Caden Jackson? I want to get away from this club. We're a 3rd-tier football club. Newsflash: every player wants out of this football club because no one ever wakes up dreaming to play Rochdale at home. Do you know what I mean? Everyone wants to be better than what they are. I feel very uncomfortable saying he's not trying this, he's not doing that, without knowing the full facts of the situation.
Good on Judge Rinder, as Stephen Parry said. It's good on Judge Rinder. Have you seen that clip of Caden Jackson on there, Kate?
No, I don't even know who that Judge Rinder is.
What? It's like Judge Judy.
I love that
Judge Judy.
Yeah. What we do know is that he wasn't in the squad yesterday for whatever reason. Make of that what you will. but he's still one of our best strikers. Like all this talk
Yeah.
about Norwood, Jackson's more available than Norwood. So for me, he's our best striker because availability is your best ability. You can be messy. Don't matter if you're sat on the treatment table. Colin, as always, appreciate it, but it's we're pushing on for time. Look after yourself.
Cheers,
I've
Colin.
got one more waiting. Do you mind dropping out a goat or a tackle or a
Likes me, doesn't he? Likes me, Colin. He says I'm always right, Kate.
Yeah, you don't know nothing, does he? Bless
I
him.
think like what Colin was, what I was going to say when Colin finished out, I do agree with what he's saying there. And, you know, the Ipswich job's got to be one of the best in football right now because you've just had an American consortium spend 40 million and given you all the reasons why they've done that. And we know there's going to be this shipping out of players in the summer where you can actually put your own stamp on something. So I would say it's one of the best jobs in football right now, being an Ipswich Town manager.
Yeah, absolutely.
The
I would agree. Yeah, the future prospects, yeah, without a doubt.
And there's obviously some issue with Jackson because he weren't training with the under 23s by accident, was he? There was obviously an issue with Lambert then. Is it hung over still now? I don't know. Is it a contract thing? Who knows?
We're not going to do a goat today. We're going to do good news, and then they played. We can't do goats this week because we've had a takeover and we're all happy.
Exactly.
Then they played. Then the whole Paul Cook press conference shenanigans.
Mine's a very quick one. You can fit it in 30 seconds, Mark.
Insert joke. Yeah, go on in.
My good news story is let's go to the movies. Indiana Jones 5 in production, coming out July the 28th, 2022. 41 years after the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
41 years?
Yeah. How old do you think Harrison Ford is now?
902.
83.
78. He's going to be obviously playing the lead role, and the female alongside him is going to be Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who's in Fleabag.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering whether or not they're going to do some kind of. My missus suggested this. Is it going to be like with Sean Connery, but this time it's going to be his long lost daughter coming in? And the great news: John Williams, one of the greatest composers to ever walk the earth, 89 years old, is going to be scoring it. So roll on summer 22. Yeah.
Dad's Army. Right. Crunch, what's your good news story of the week?
Good news story? Well, it's a quick one, isn't it? Look at the weather outside today, Matt. Sun shining in Essex. Down at New Riddle Street. The cricket season is back. Although it did look a bit Baltic down there. I watched a few highlights. It looked absolutely freezing, didn't it, down there?
Oh, down there. Yeah,
I don't know if everyone knows. I'm a bigger cricket fan than I am a football fan. So there you go.
You would have thought it.
Anything positive from your side of the globe this week, Kate?
Organising my little one's first birthday. It's going to be a Zoom extravaganza with the grandparents. And so that is good news. And then just counting down to when I can get my vaccine.
Absolutely. Brilliant. All right. Let's give the last word on Ipswich Town this weekend to our last contributor from the day. Ben is asked if you can have 5 minutes.
He's back.
Here he is. Here he is. Ben.
My phone just crashed. Everything froze, and I still had Cully on the screen. I don't know what happened.
Nobody wants that. Nobody wants.
Screensaver.
So Ben, what's you thinking of Ipswich Town this weekend?
Well, God, it's just been boring watching. To be fair, the last 2 games 0-0. It's just nothing going up top. I don't even think Jackson looks up to playing for this club anymore. To be fair to you. What do you think of that?
I disagree with it.
I disagree. I don't think he wants to wear the shirt.
Maybe. I mean, he's had his head turned by Bournemouth. He's had his head turned by Huddersfield last minute in the transfer window. You know, they're only human, these players. They would be playing at a different level to League One. If it's with another club, so be it. You know, it's only a job to them. To us, it's our passion. To them, it's their job. They get paid the same if they win and if they lose. At the end of the day, you know, they're just ships in the night for us players. Come and go.
I thought Gazelle had one of his better games yesterday. I know you don't like Gazelle, but I thought he was actually better.
What makes you think Andre stood out for you, Ben? Let him speak.
I just thought he was passing the ball a lot better. He had Flynn back in his midfield, helping him a bit. I thought he was a lot better yesterday.
What about his set pieces, Ben?
Oh, they're still crap.
Lee made a great point yesterday, didn't he? That he's gone from playing 10 games a season to what is it now, 35? That is a great point. That is such a huge change up, isn't it?
And we've seen zero progression.
Yeah, I think he'll still. Yeah. I think he'll get better.
He needs.
And he'll be part of the team next season.
He'll need to be. Yeah.
Absolutely, he needs to. Let's see. Who? I'm going to try and be positive here as we end the show. Another person who stood up for you yesterday, Ben.
Oh, anyone else that stood out for me yesterday? Oh God, I can't stand Ward at left back.
Yeah.
No. The defence played well.
Toto again. Was a bit of a rock, wasn't he, again? Toto. Play to him.
What was that?
Toto was a rock again, wasn't he? Toto.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with the defence at the minute. I just don't like Ward.
Who'd have thought it, Rich? We had him out of the club, didn't we, in the summer?
Yeah, he got a red card from it. Look, he's player of the year nailed on, Matt.
Yeah, he's good back.
Ben, I appreciate you coming on. Sorry it couldn't be longer. Sort that phone out. Sort that phone out, my man. And stay safe. Right. Up to you. What do you want to do from here? You can have your individual moments if you like.
A little quick crunch and tackle. Just to
I've got a nice little media mogul that will fit in with what we've been talking about.
All
so you go first.
So we're off to the Johan Cruyff Arena, Europa League. Oh no, we'd love to go there, wouldn't we, Matt? I'd love a trip there. Great stadium, looks really good. So it was Ajax versus Roma in the Europa League, and time is ticking away. And the Roma left back is a lad wearing the number 61. I can never get my head around people wearing high numbers. Riccardo Calafiori. He's an 18-year-old, and he's trying to waste a bit of time. And I'll tell you what, I would have done this as well. I would have done this to him.
Can we play?
Yeah, go.
That's one. And I think Fonseca's probably looking at this game and thinking, don't get me wrong, maybe a draw in the end may have been.
So he throws the ball at him.
Lobbed the ball at him.
Yeah. What's wrong with that then?
He had a ball there. He's got a ball there. If you see it, that he's had in his hands and he's thrown it down and obviously walked 10 yards.
There we go.
Look at this.
What's happened there? Have some.
But the thing is, he almost goes down, then he's like,
that's like Rivaldo.
Yeah,
World Cup.
that was like Rivaldo against Turkey in the World Cup when he got that ball kicked at him. But I remember that one. So I think I was in the North Stand, Matt. It might have been Tranmere. Do you remember Eric Nixon?
I do.
I was right near the front, and he's come to get the ball. And when you like winning, and you lob it up the back of the stand.
Yeah.
Very happy with me. We weren't very happy.
We did
Hey, up we go.
Yeah. Right, well, listen. Tomorrow, Luke Penning starts his new job. So fair play to him, our scouting specialist. So good luck with that, Luke. We're all behind you. I'm sure you'll have a great day. So this has now given me a little window to step in. It's the Media Mogul Scouting Report, isn't it? So, 442 magazine. 442 magazine. Every year they publish their EFL top 50 players. So I'm gonna give you each a guess. How many players do you think Ipswich have got in their EFL top 50? 442. Okay, how many do you think?
I'm going to sound terrible now, but 3.
You're going to go 3. Okay, Rich.
1.
Martin.
0.
Martin's correct. We have not got a player in the top 50 this year. We've always had someone in there. We've got some hits on the periphery, ones to look out for, and that's Flynn. We've got Flynn in there. But the top 50. So, look, we've got a bit of money to spend in the summer, haven't we? So here's some of the players that kind of stood out for me. So number 49 is Nick. I'm not going to do all of them, by the way, but I'm starting with number 49. It's Nicky Cadden from Forest Green Rovers, 24 years age, left-sided player, superb crosses. Someone to look at for coming in. Goalkeeper at 47 is a Vladklav Halatsky.
Salford.
From
Good
Salford.
keeper. He should be playing higher. Good goalie.
30 years of age, Czech. Seen as the best keeper in League Two in modern times. So,
Can you pronounce that again, Matt? Can you pronounce that?
Vladklav Halatsky. My Czech's the way it used to be, Kate, unfortunately. 46. Someone we're going to see on Tuesday. Joe Piggott, 27. Feed the Pig, and he will score is their chant. 10 goals before Christmas for him. 45. Matt J, striker, Exeter, 25 years of age.
He said he wanted to go through them all.
Who's the top player? Who's the top player? Who's the top 3?
Hold on. We've got, so Matt J scored more goals for Exeter than Ollie Watkins did when he was a Grecian. Then you got your Luke Jeffcott's in there. Paul Mallon's at 31, who scored 30 goals a season.
Is Charlie Kirk in there? Is Charlie Kirk in there, Matt?
He was one to watch. Johnson Clark Harris, 26. George Grant at Lincoln, 24. Kiefer Moore's at 19.
Send this to Brett Johnson.
Kiefer Moore's at 19. Remember that guy? He's in the top 20. So your top 5 was Lucas Jow at Reading, Adam Armstrong's at 4 with Blackburn, Pookie at 3, Benzia at 2, and number 1 is Ivan Toney. So there you go. It shows you we don't even feature in the top 15.
Hawks, if you're watching, because Hawks don't rate him. Does not rate Ivan Toney.
Really? I'll take him.
Hawks don't know his strikers then, does he? Right. I think we're done for the day. I think we're dusted.
Is Alex Gilliard in there, top 50?
Yeah.
I didn't see his name there.
Is Bart in there? Is Bart in there?
No.
It's a fucking
How did your horse go yesterday, Kate?
What's a rubbish list?
What's that?
Where did your horse finish?
Oh, I don't even know.
What'd you have?
Congratulations. You did us proud, Fletcher. Yeah.
Did you lump on Martin as well?
Only one problem.
I went for any second now because my thing was, it's like watching Ipswich trying to score.
That didn't go too badly. It didn't go too badly. Didn't win.
You bet on that. Did you back that? Did you back that, Martin? The winner.
Where do you think I was all morning? I was quietly studying the form guide, the jockeys, everything, the weights, the handicap. Honestly, and I picked out the winner. Yeah, I thought, you know what? It's a female jockey.
That's what I looked at.
Oh, bye, Kate.
That's where I looked at.
Cheers for coming, Kate.
I had Magic of Light, which went at the 5th, I think.
Yeah,
typical.
I love the national. I really
I should listen to you.
Yeah, but the only thing was the colours it was wearing.
Yellow and green, disgrace.
There you go.
You can't do that. Anyway, we're done. We're dusted for another show. We're back tomorrow night, 8:30, Ipswich Town, Talking Town Extra Time with Amy and Peaky Mark Tuxford.
I'll have to watch later because I'm reffing. Fat League starts tomorrow night. We're back.
Good luck.
We're back.
Back
on the grass.
We certainly do love our horses. I'm not as good as a certain Lambert you might know, but I don't do too badly.
I'm not watching Tuesday night, by the way.
Okay.
Not watching.
Are you boycotting? Are you boycotting?
No, I've got. Ollie's got an under-13s game. Be more exciting, Matt, than watching us.
We'll keep you updated.
Well, okay. Well, don't worry. Well, we're back tomorrow 8:30.
Can you let me know if you have a shot?
I'm sure there'll be more Paul Cook stuff to absolutely pull apart. Kate, wherever you may be, thank you very much.
Yeah. Nice to
Matt,
see you, Kate.
Rich, as always, a true pleasure. And we've gained some really good subscribers on Ko-Fi in the last hour and a bit. So well done. We're still just a little short of the giveaway starting, but we're getting there.
Big shout out to Mike Davey. He got a shirt that I promised. He's ordered the away shirt.
He's got it.
Kate, thank you.
Kate's back.
Thank you very much.
Kate?
I ran out of juice. Don't be offended.
And next Sunday, we'd have all have had haircuts. Woo.
Yes, we will have done. Run out of juice. A lot like
You've had yours done, okay, haven't you? You've had yours done.
I have.
I'm trying to win the fucking show here, people. For crying out loud. I've got a life to get to.
I have, because we're lucky in Singapore we're allowed to get our haircuts. But the reason why we're having a Zoom party is because we're still under quite very strict restrictions with numbers, so we can't really host anyone. That's why we have to have the Zoom party. So
you down the pub tomorrow, Mark? Down the pub after a haircut?
I'm not now. No, all these minutes of extra upload stories I'm going to be paying for. Just we're talking about our haircuts. Jeez Louise. Yes, we see it. Right, I'm pushing the button.